Hello, friends, neighbors, extraordinaire lovers, and people of all ages. I'm your host, Dustalker, and today we shall be doing something secretive, something that nobody else in this world knows of. We're not doing a secret episode today. No, 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 we're too good for that. Today, we're doing a super secret episode, which is even more secret than a regular secret episode. You'll understand what exactly I'm talking about in a bit. But first, we have some things to ramble about. Because you may notice some things, and I wish to talk about them. Why? Because I'm a rambler. So yeah, this is going to be one of those that's not going to talk for too long and did actually play the game. But yeah, I have some things, some big news, and I'd like to say them somewhere, so this is a good place as any, right at the start before we do anything else so you can hear me nice and clearly. Okay, first of all and foremost, how do I begin? The best way to start is with the fact of the matter that, I've improved the quality of my videos, on my quality of everything, really. The outputs, the initial rendering, everything. Basically, before we were getting it at 1080p at 60, basically the normal high quality videos that you'll see, I decided to go a bit more insane. Now I am a bit higher than the normal that you see. I am now 1440 at 60. Yep, I moved up to 1440p. Have a new monitor right now, and with it, I'm now doing 1440p. So yeah, Doom is on the now bigger resolution. And a lot of my games have been set up already to basically run on this new, more massive resolution. So yeah, even bigger and better than before. Doom. Okay, also, another thing to mention is the fact of the matter that I didn't get rid of the old monitor this time around. I got the 1440p, but I also have the 1080 monitor I had before. Guess what that means? That means I have two monitors. That may sound like a weird thing to say, but yeah, up until this point, I've basically been doing everything on a single monitor. And yeah, not exactly the best of things, honestly, when trying to do this type of stuff. Mainly because it's the hardest thing to kind of manage between everything on one monitor. You see, like, when I try and record something, I can't exactly see how it is unless I jump out of it. That's just kind of how it is with one monitor. Here, I can look at it right now and tell I've been recording for 2 minutes and 50 seconds while at the same time looking at Doom. In fact, this is one reason why you exactly see me loaded right now into Doom instead of a black screen like I usually would be. I figured it'd be a nice little variation. Yeah, I'm probably going to still ramble a lot, but less black screeny! And the big thing is, you'll still probably see me, like, talk at the beginning, so don't expect that to be different. But expect during the game me not to, like, jump out of it and be like, let me check the time, I wonder how long I've been recording, and so with that, I can kind of have some idea how long I've recorded for, have some idea right there, conveniently check it whenever I want, and it just makes life a lot easier, more streamlined, and better. Now, there are certain cases where this isn't going to work. Specifically, old school gaming is kind of finicky because you see, there's two different types of two types of full screen mode. There's full screen and then there's full screen windowed. If it's the latter, it'll work fine, and GZ Doom and DOSBots fall into that category. But other old school games don't fall into that category. And basically, the difference between it is if it's just full screen and not full screen windowed, that basically means that it doesn't update the other windows in the background. You can't see anything else going on. And because of that, I won't really be able to see my other monitor doing anything. It'll just be a static picture. So on those, I'm probably going to mention it beforehand, but yeah, it's still going to be limited on those. But for Doom, for Daggerfall, aka the two main games we're kind of playing right now, guess what? We get the ability to have updated stuff. And yeah, it just works a lot better. If I was streaming, that'd also work well here because that means now I'm able to check your comments without loading up the stream. Every single one of these streams, I've always like had to load up on my phone, and usually that takes like a few minutes. I usually end up talking because I have to like get connected beforehand. Yeah. It becomes an annoying procedure that's just like at the beginning of every single time. And yeah, and then sometimes it doesn't come through with comments. Sometimes it's very finicky. Did I actually get a comment? And then, of course, there's the infamous times when I've had total black screens. I didn't even realize I was just recording a black screen. Yeah. Well, guess what? Now I can see myself look at that button in OBS and can tell right away. You can't get me now because I'm able to watch and see and know. So yeah, if you're not watching this on a 1440p monitor yourself, you're not going to notice any difference. If you are, it'll of course be better because you'll be able to see your native resolution, which is of course always looking better. And that also means that, like I said, we get an increase in general support that we could do. I get a wider screen, so I can play around with that. And like I said, a lot of management things get better. So that was kind of like what I wanted to mostly ramble about. With all that in mind, I think it's time to actually focus on what we're doing today. Because why is this a super secret episode? You may have recalled me talking about, Doom files before in the past. I talked about what I had and hadn't really gone over. Mostly what I had been ignoring includes, something to just make the entire game light bright. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste my time with that. I'm sorry. And then we have a bunch of, like, really random, WAD things that really don't help. But another thing that was a thing was enemy sprites. Enemy sprites were changed. And that's basically the thing of today. We're gonna look at some enemy sprites being different. It really would just be a quick video, but because I'm kind of talking for this length of time, I'm going to really stretch out the time. Yeah. But it's just kind of one of those things to basically show off what the old enemy sprites looked like, to show that one, these were a thing, and B, to show kind of what some of those things were. So I decided why not, and let's kind of show them. Now, if you do remember what I was talking about before, there was I believe not dehacked. Dehacked is a bit more modern, isn't it? Eh boy. Well, I think it's like DU edit or something like that. But there is a program that basically loads up. I think maybe it's DMGRAPH. I think that's a DMGRAPH. And basically, what this program does is it basically takes all these different sprites that somebody drew or made or however they got them, and it basically replaces the files in the Doom WAD with them. So yeah, be sure to back up your Doom WAD if you're going to do this, because you're going to lose everything else you have. Yeah, it updates your main Doom WAD. So yeah, this means you're basically stuck with it unless you have a copy on hand. Kinda stinks. And even more stinkiness is the fact of the matter that this is so old that it's a 16-bit application, which of course means that if you have 64-bit Windows, that means you cannot use it. I happen to have Windows 7 64-bit, so that means I was kind of out of luck. What I ended up doing is I happen to have a 32-bit Windows 7 elsewhere, and I basically took that. I took the a DoomWad file, I copied it, and then I ran it through this program to get the output one. And so now I basically have the modified IWAD with the sprites in there. So yeah, basically I just basically used another computer, then moved it back to this one, and because now it's unpacked, I'm able to see it on this one. So yeah, a bit more inconvenient to load up than say like a music file or a level file, because both of those are WADs. and they're like individual WADs that are separate from the IWADs. This basically patches over the IWAD. And that alone is one thing I want to kind of rant about because, yeah, kind of changing the original game is not exactly a good idea. Especially since I don't see any way to really revert this. Yeah. Basically, it's like you install or whatnot, and now you're kind of stuck with this thing, and it just I don't get why it wasn't like a WAD or something like that. I guess for some reason you couldn't have sprite files as WADs for whatever reason. You had to use a batch program or whatever it was, the 16-bit application, just to get it to run everything appropriately. But it's a really weird scenario. You could have music being replaced, but you couldn't have sprites being replaced. I guess it's just how they were written or whatever. But in any event, like I said, it makes it really, really awkward when this is basically, I don't know if it changes with like modern ones. I assume if you did like a modern WAD, you'd basically get enemy sprites included with it. Or even if it was just an enemy WAD, you'd actually get like a WAD file for it. But yeah, back in the original Doom days, we didn't have WADs for our enemies. We basically had to take this and replace out our files and basically overwrite our IWAD. That basically means that it's more of a pain to install than anything else at the time. And it mostly is just a little graphical change. So you can see why I've been mostly hesitant with even bothering with this. And yeah, I might not do many of these. Like, I might not really, like, get into a series like I did, like, even the music. But I wanted to show you something. I wanted to show you that these existed. And I felt like, I don't know, I wanted to show something. It felt kind of like it was lacking a certain amount. Like, I wanted to show that there were enemy sprites out there. And that this was an existent thing. But like I said, enemy sprites were just replacement files at the time. They weren't like what's it called? Dehacked or Decorate. That's it. Decorate. Basically, like GZ Doom and Z Doom have like Decorate built into them, which basically means it includes enemies instead of replacing. I definitely prefer that idea because I don't like ideas of things overwriting old things and me basically losing stuff. I like the idea of expanding on it and constantly getting new stuff so I can potentially play it all together and get like a bunch of new enemies all at once. Yeah. So with this in mind, we basically lose an enemy. So, with all that in mind, let's actually get to the WAD of the day. And I actually, sorry to say this, but I actually have to do stuff to do this right, don't I? I wasn't exactly thinking, was I? No, I wasn't. Oh, look at that binging. You like Bing? You'll love it even more when you find out that Bing is by Microsoft. So you guys just sit there and look at that screen, I guess, because why not? And I shall quickly try and pull up this text file so we can actually see something. Because it's better than not knowing what exactly we're even doing here. Okay, here we are. Words I don't care about. More words. Supplementary graphics for Doom with DMGRAPH.exe. I was right. There it is. And a batch file to replace the pinkies with a black knight. The knight has an upside down cross as his coat of arms. So, yeah. Basically, this is like the original, one of the first sprite changes that exist in the archive list. And so it's therefore one to kind of check out and say as one of the earliest ones that exist. So let's check it out. See where exactly it came from and see what one of the earliest examples is. Right? Right. So, yeah, with all that in mind, it's basically just going to be, let's check out some pinkies and see how they look now. Basically, they look like Black Knights. This is a Night WAD, so Yeah, you would kind of expect it to be nights, wouldn't you? What could you in? Let's see these nights. Oh dear God, we're doomed! Aye. It's like Legos! They tip over and they fall! We're doomed! Help! Help! Die! Die! Yeah, but sadly, like I said, this is before the days of Z-Doom and all that, so we get really limited capabilities. And sadly, it's a lot less interesting to me because it's just a bunch of random demons now replaced to look like knights. And this is why they're not that significant to me. My God! Look at the upside down crosses. Ain't this amazing? Wasn't this worth the entire thing? We're doomed! Doom Guy now shall punch his way to victory. My God! My gladiatorial warrior! Ha! Look at you, you're flat and bloody. Me, I am more amazing than you'll ever be. Let's get a shotgun so we can just wham these things faster. How to make E1M4 uneventful. Just make it so it doesn't have really any music. Oh God, it's invisible knights! Invisible knights everywhere! Invisible black knights! Look at that, they're just right at me! We're doomed! So, you want to see invisible knights? There you are. Hope you're happy. I sure am not. Yeah. Well, that was terrible. With that in mind, thank you very much for watching. It has been an adventure! And one that we should not easily forget. Just remember the lesson of the day, which is, do not replace your Doom P-WAD with a random Night WAD from 1994, because otherwise you'll end up with some MS Paint monsters and the inability to get back to normal demons. Yep, that's the lesson of the day. Don't touch DMGRAPH if you're in 2016. That's another important lesson. Anyway, with all that in mind, like I said, this was a really pointless episode, but it was one, A, as like a up-to-date thing, so that way I didn't have to like say it in the middle of another one, and B, to show off something little and stupid. It's something that, you know, it was like, would I show it off? Am I going to show it off? Let's show it off this one time at least. Something just to say, here's Pinkies replaced with Night People. Hope you like it. Seriously, it took 2 seconds to really display. And that's basically how all these would be. It would really not be much. Because we're looking at basically the substance of like a few images. And yeah, like I said, they really aren't even new monsters because they're just being reskinned with something else. So, yeah, generally speaking, it just isn't that much to hold your interest, in my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if you actually would have an interest in this. I'll be glad to, like, do some more of these, but I really feel like it'd be a waste of time. So yeah, there's a random night video. Hope you liked that. And yeah, look forward to the future where you'll see more 1440p awesomeness featuring Deathstalker versus the random Night People, because now his Doom IWAD has been messed up. Thank you, DMGRAPH. Anyway, have a good night, people.